You know, ghost stories, they tap into that universal fear of the unknown, right? But what if a story uses all the classic tricks of a terrifying haunting to hide a totally different kind of secret? Today, we're digging into a modern Bengali folktale that starts out with every sign of a classic, malevolent spirit. But the real twist here isn't what the ghost does, but what it is. So, let's unravel this thing together.
All right, so let's set this scene. Like a lot of good spooky stories, this one kicks off on a cold, dark night. We're at Sealdah Station, which is this massive, chaotic train hub in Kolkata, India. But for our main character, it's not just busy. It's a place of pure desperation.
Okay, so picture this. It's 9:30 at night. The very last local train is about to pull out, and a young guy named Sujoy is just sprinting full tilt through the station. He absolutely has to make this train. He just got the news that his grandfather passed away, and if he doesn't get home tonight, he's going to miss the final rites.
He makes it just in the nick of time, literally pulled on board by someone. As he's catching his breath, Sujoy takes a look around, and the vibe inside, it's just desolate, eerily empty. Well, almost. There's one other person sitting right across from him, the guy who helped him on, but his face is completely hidden by this thick black shawl, which is kind of weird even for a cold night. The train jerks forward, and it's carrying Sujoy toward his family in Namkhana, and into a journey that's about to change everything. So the train is just clattering along through the pitch-black night, and for Sujoy, you can imagine, the silence is just deafening. Every click of the wheels is just a reminder of why he's there. But that silence, it's about to get shattered, and this journey of grief is about to turn into a journey of pure, absolute dread.
And then, a voice cuts through the silence. It's from the man in the shawl. It's this low, raspy voice, and the words just hit Sujoy like a punch to the gut. This isn't just some random comment. It's like this stranger has reached directly into Sujoy's soul and pulled out his single biggest regret. For 2 years, his grandfather had been begging him to come visit, and Sujoy, caught up in city life, just never did.
I mean, how? Just how could this person possibly know that? That's the one thing that's been eating him alive. The panic starts to set in, for real. He turns to the man, his voice probably shaking, and just demands to know what's going on.
So the man finally gives him a story. He says, "Look, I was an old friend of your grandfather, Prahlad." He tells Sujoy they used to sell fruit together and that he actually went to visit the old man a couple of months ago. And that's when, according to him, Prahlad told him all about how lonely he was and how much he missed his grandson. The man says he's on his way to the funeral too. It sounds plausible, right? But Sujoy's gut is screaming that something is seriously wrong here.
So Sujoy has this story that kind of adds up, but that feeling of dread, it's not going anywhere. It's just hanging there in the cold air. And it turns out, all that weirdness, the conversation, the empty train, that was just the warm-up act, because things are about to get straight up supernatural. And then, as they're pulling into the next station, Sonarpur Junction, it happens. The lights just go crazy, flicker, flicker, and then, boom, total darkness. And right at that exact moment, his phone starts ringing. You can't make this stuff up. It's his uncle, calling to see where he is.
And then, just as fast as they went out, the lights flicker back on. Sujoy's eyes are trying to adjust, and he happens to look down, and he just freezes. There's blood, bright red blood pooling on the floor, and it's coming from one place, right from under the stranger's seat.
So Sujoy, thinking maybe the guy's hurt, calls out to him. Nothing. He figures, okay, maybe he's just asleep. So he leans down, super hesitant, reaches for that shawl covering the guy's feet, and he lifts it. And what he sees, it's just impossible. The man's feet are completely backwards. Heels where the toes should be, toes pointing to the back of the seat.
Okay, so this is where the cultural context is absolutely crucial. For anyone who grew up with Bengali stories or South Asian folklore in general, reversed feet, ulto pa, isn't just some weird thing. It is the classic terrifying sign of a ghost, a bhoot. So for Sujoy, in that single second, all the doubt vanishes. He knows. He's on a train, trapped with a ghost.
Finally, the train screeches into Namkhana station. Sujoy's thinking, okay, I'm out of here. His first instinct is just to run, but the thing he was on that train with, it's not done with him, not by a long shot. And the mystery of who or what it is only getting deeper. So Sujoy gets off the train, and the figure just melts into the shadows of the platform. But then this voice calls out, telling him not to go home.
It says the family is already at the crematorium and that he needs to follow him. And again, you have to ask, how on earth does it know this?
He's absolutely terrified, but what choice does he have? So he starts following this shadow down a dark road. But while he's walking, keeping his distance, he secretly pulls out his phone and makes a call to his uncle. He's whispering, trying to get some answers, trying to figure out if the stranger's story holds up. And what he hears on the phone is the final nail in the coffin. His uncle tells him, no way. Your grandfather didn't have any friend like that from Calcutta. In fact, no friends had visited in years. The entire story was a lie. So now Sujoy knows for sure. He's following a ghost into the darkness, and he has no idea what it wants.
Okay, so they get to this path leading to the crematorium. You can hear the sounds of the funeral procession now, the chanting. You can smell the incense in the air. It's heavy, it's dark, and this is where it's all going to come out. The truth is finally going to be revealed.
All of a sudden, the figure just stops. It turns around to face him, and with this challenge, "You're so eager to know who I am, then look." It just lets the heavy black shawl fall to the ground.
And there's no man there. There's no monster. Instead, there's this soft, glowing light, what's called a jyoti in Bengali. It's not scary at all. It's gentle. And in that moment, Sujoy realizes it's the spirit of his grandfather Prahlad.
And then the light speaks, but the voice isn't scary anymore. It's warm. It's familiar. It's his grandfather. And he explains everything. He was just so worried about Sujoy traveling alone in the middle of the night that his spirit literally couldn't rest. It left his body behind just to find his grandson and make sure he got home safe.
Suddenly it all makes sense, right? Every scary thing that happened on that train wasn't a threat. It was an act of love, of protection. And now that its job is done, the spirit has one last thing to say. Hurry, go see my face one last time before they light the pyre. And just like that, with those last loving words, the light just fades away into the night. Its work is done. And Sujoy, he's not scared anymore. He's just filled with this incredible mix of grief and love. And he runs the rest of the way to the crematorium.
It's such a brilliant story because it takes all the classic scary movie tropes, the dark train, the creepy stranger, the blood, the reversed feet, and it uses them to tell a story about love. A love so powerful that not even death could get in its way. And it really makes you think, doesn't it? Maybe the best ghost stories aren't always about the things that haunt us, but about the love that finds us in the dark.